Imagine finding out your entire life wasn't just yours, that from the moment you were born, decisions were made about you. Not for your well-being, not for your future, but for an experiment, a hidden study designed to answer one of the biggest questions in human history. Because in this story, three brothers grew up completely unaware of each other's existence, separated at birth, raised in different homes, living completely different lives, until one moment changed everything and revealed a truth that should have never been hidden. In the early 1960s, in New York, an adoption agency called Louise Wise Services was working alongside a child psychiatrist named Peter B. Neubauer. Neubauer was deeply interested in the question of nature versus nurture, whether who we become is written into our DNA or shaped by the environment we grow up in. And to explore that question, a decision was made, one that would affect multiple lives for decades to come. When identical twins, and even triplets, were born and entered the adoption system, they were deliberately separated, each child placed into a different type of household, one into a wealthier home, one into a middle-class family, another into a working-class environment. The idea was simple in theory, but disturbing in practice. Raise genetically identical children in completely different worlds, and observe what happens. But the most unsettling part wasn't just the separation. It was the secrecy. The adoptive parents were never told their child had a twin or sibling out there. Instead, they were told researchers would visit from time to time, checking in on development. But those visits weren't routine. They were part of something much bigger. The children were filmed, studied, tested, their behavior, intelligence, emotions, all quietly documented. And this wasn't just one isolated case. Multiple sets of twins were involved in this study. Dozens of children, all separated at birth, all unknowingly part of an experiment they never agreed to. Lives divided not by chance, but by design. Then, in 1980, something completely unexpected happened. A young man named Robert Shafron arrived at his college. Almost immediately, people started greeting him like they already knew him, calling him by a different name, hugging him, acting as if he had been there before. Confused, he began asking questions, and slowly, a truth started to surface. There was someone else, someone who looked exactly like him. That someone was Edward G. When the two finally met, the resemblance was undeniable. Same face, same voice, same mannerisms. It wasn't just similarity, it was identical. The story quickly made headlines, capturing attention across the country. But what happened next made it even more unbelievable.
A third young man saw the news.
David Kellman looked at the photos and realized he was looking at himself. Soon after, he reached out, and just like that, three strangers became brothers again. The reunion was emotional, almost surreal. The three bonded instantly, discovering not just their shared appearance, but shared habits too. They laughed the same, moved the same, even had similar tastes and behaviors. For a moment, it felt like proof that nature had a powerful hold over who we are. But beneath the surface, questions lingered. How could something like this happen? Why were they separated? And eventually, the truth came out. They weren't separated by coincidence. They had been part of a controlled study, a secret experiment designed by Peter B. Neubauer and carried out through Louise Wise Services. Even more unsettling, the full results of that study were sealed, locked away at Yale University, not to be opened until 2066, meaning the conclusions, the findings, the true impact of what was done remain hidden to this day. As the years passed, the story took a darker turn. While the brothers remained connected, differences in their personalities became more noticeable. Struggles began to surface. And in 1995, tragedy struck when Edward Galland died by suicide. A devastating moment that raised an uncomfortable question. Was this just life taking its course? Or had the experiment itself played a role? Because that's the part that lingers. These three weren't the only ones. There were others, other twins, other children. Still out there, some may never even know they were part of something like this, that their lives were shaped quietly and deliberately by people they never met. And it makes you wonder, how many stories like this are still hidden? And what happens when the truth finally comes out?